with the Shalom Aleichem in the Siddur on page number 5. In the Siddur on page number 5. We begin with a song, a prayer, a greeting of peace to angels. And it says something that angels want to hear our singing. Angels want to hear our words of song. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Yeah.
Let us trumpet praise to our protector. Filled with thanks, let us greet God, raising our voice in song. Great is Adonai, a greater sovereign than all other deities. God's hands form the earth deep. Mountain crests too are God's work. The sea is God's, for God made it. Dry land was fashioned by God's hands. Come then, let us bow and kneel. Let us bend our knees in the presence of Adonai, who formed us. Asher nishbati yapi, im yavon el nuchati. And on page 15 on the English side. Adonai reigns. Let the earth be glad. The many distant lands rejoice. Clouds and thick darkness surround the divine. Righteousness and justice secure God's throne. Fire goes before God, consuming besiegers round about. Flashes of lightning illumine the land. The earth watches and trembles. Mountains melt like wax at the approach of Adonai, at the approach of the Master of all the earth. The heavens tell of God's righteousness, and all the nations see God's glory. On page 16, the last two English stanzas. Those who love Adonai hate evil. God protects the lives of the faithful, saving them from the hands of the sinful. Light is sown for the righteous, and joy for the upright. Rejoice in Adonai, you righteous people, and thank God as you pronounce the divine holy name. This is a psalm from the Bible. It's in the Siddur prayer book. Look at the next to the last line at the bottom. Rejoice in Adonai, you righteous people. The prayer is confident that each and every one of us is righteous. So the prayer is confident that you and I are righteous, and you and I can walk out of this room this evening, at the end of the service, knowing that the prayer book sees something inside us. What do we see inside ourselves? Now the prayer book says, we're righteous. We have two song sheets tonight, and this first song is Not Sure Where, Not Sure How. This is Heaven and Earth Touch. Not sure where, not sure how.
I'm not sure where, I'm not sure how. Maybe later, maybe now, somewhere. Heaven and earth touch. Perhaps it's only in a dream, never to be found or be seen. It's somewhere. Heaven and earth touch. I saw them for miracles of better things to come. Perhaps I'm just too close to see the miracle is you and me. I want to believe in a way.
But first, when you look at the English translation, especially the second stanza, and then lower down, you see voice of Adonai. That phrase occurs 7 times in the psalm. And perhaps that's why this psalm has arrived here and it's chanted some recited Friday night and also Saturday morning. We hear the number 7, we think about Shabbat. The voice of God calls out 7 times. In a way, the voice of God becomes associated with the 7th day, the symbolism of the psalm. During these few minutes, and when we go home tonight and also tomorrow, when we're Shabbos and Sabbath night, are we hearing God's voice in the world, in nature, the people with whom we interact, from our own mind and our heart, guiding us towards making the right choices? Are we hearing the voice of God? Page 21. There's more to read. Havu Adonai b'neim, Havu Adonai kavod va'oz, Havu Adonai kavod shemo, Yishtachavu Adonai ha'kodesh, Kol Adonai alayim el ha'kavod kirim Adonai. On page 23, the first 2 stanzas, and then we skip page 24, go to page 25. This is a song, a poem, symbolically welcoming the spirit of Shabbat coming in. Shabbat's joining us. Shabbat wants to come into where we are. And so we greet Shabbat, and at the very end of page 25, the traditional, to stand up, turn, and face the door, singing Shabbat, symbolically joining us. On page 23, the first 2, page 25, the last 2 stanzas. 28. The last three stanzas and the last two stanzas are directed to us. But it's that third stanza, as my enemies. This was written 3,000 years ago. And I wonder what was through the minds of the composer as this stanza was written about enemies. But the message of the writer is to remain calm, to know that you matter, you're standing, you're secure. You're not going to be knocked over by enemies. Those last three stanzas. As my enemies gather against me, my gaze remains steady, for my ears listen and hear. The righteous flourish like the date palm, thrive like a cedar in Lebanon, planted in the house of my God. They flourish in our God's courtyards. In old age they remain fruitful, still fresh and bountiful, proclaiming Adonai is coming. Our God is moving from the fall. And on the transliteration, halfway down, the little red arrow, Tzaddik Katamar, on the Hebrew side, Tzaddik. Tzaddik Katamar Yifrach, Keres Balvam, Yizgah, Shetulim, B'nei Adonai, B'chazot Eloheinu, Ya'alinu, Oyenu B'Seva, B'Shenim V'Radim, Yiyu V'Hahi, Ki Ashar Adonai, Suri V'La'acharo. And we're seated. Suri V'La'acharo is a message, and again it's that last phrase from the Psalm. God is as permanent to me as the side of a mountain, and I'm not going to be afraid. And if we turn to the other song sheet, it's the song at the bottom. It's Never Walk Alone, and I'm placing this here at this point in the service because we need the message that wherever we are going, we're not walking alone. God is with us. God is the presence that has been with us since the days of Abraham and Sarah 3,800 years ago. God is the presence that created the universe. God is the presence that stands by you, each one of us. So the song, never walk alone.
Shelter in me.
speaking thus, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars and their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who wills light before darkness and darkness from light, who makes day pass into night, who distinguishes day from night. Adonai Sabaoth is your name, living and ever-present God. May your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings teaching to us. On the facing page on the Hebrew side, the last two lines. El Chai V'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Hamoed, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'marif Avraham. And on page 40, in the left margin, the bottom stanza to love the world. When we act with love, Franz Rosenzweig remarks, the neighbor represents all the world, and thus distorts the eye's view. Prayer, however, pleads for enlightenment, and thereby, without overlooking the neighbor, sees beyond the neighbor, sees the whole world. V'avatachal tasir mimenu la'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amon Yisrael. Shema, page 41. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Silence, perhaps the commentary on page 41 or the text on page 42. 2 moments of silence. I'm on page 44, beneath the Mota, a song of deliverance. A song from going from one part of the desert into the other and seeing the sense of satisfaction and contentment when you move forward, even in the desert. Just a reminder that 99.9% of Jewish prayer speaks of we, us, our, nosotros. We're all together. And this prayer, which originally was composed and recited by an individual going to sleep at night, left that individual's prayer and migrated into the evening service. But when it was first composed to be recited by an individual, any individual who said that Hebrew prayer, that Jewish prayer, was thinking about other people. It's not enough for me to pray that I sleep tonight and I feel safe and protected and calm. It's not enough. If I don't think about other people who are feeling anxiety or fear or stress or worse, then my prayer is incomplete. The only way my prayer as a Jew is complete is if I'm thinking about other people too. And that's why the first word is hashki ve'nu. Help all of us go to sleep with a sense of peace and security. On page 45. Hashki ve'nu, Adonai God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your counsel, and save us for the sake of your name. Shield us. Remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings. For you, God, watch over and deliver us. And you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming, life and peace, now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai. Spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people of Israel, and over Jerusalem. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai. Haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al top of page 46. V'shamro b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'yorkam b'ritolah. V'shamro b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot Before we rise, if you look at page 47, which is the opening to the very important direct prayer that we have to God. This blessing is entitled Our Ancestors. Everybody has an ancestor. Everybody has ancestors. Perhaps some of us are closer with some of our ancestors than others. Perhaps some of us have warm and deep relationships with some of our ancestors, perhaps not. When I think of everyone as having an ancestor, in some way, the playing field is level. And that's how we begin our private, immediate prayer to God. Now, we're all in a similar boat in one way or another. And once we start, if you want to follow the traditional prayer that is through here, then if you wish to make up your own prayer, it's entirely traditional, has been for 2,000 years. But our starting point is to remember that we all have a great deal in common. And thereafter, we're ready to start our private prayer. We're invited to rise. The traditional text, page 47 to 52, for a few moments of silent private prayer. We have a very big book. We have a lot of prayers in this book. We choose to differentiate between prayers and blessings. Blessings in Hebrew are brachos, and they come from the word baruch. And anytime you hear baruch atah, and it's yay long, could be a paragraph, could be a few pages like in Rosh Hashanah. Usually it's just one liner. We speak of blessings, lavrios, be blessed because of. And most of us know a lot of brachos. We know the hamotzi, the blessing we say, over God for bringing forth bread from the earth, the hagafen, the blessing we say over God for giving us grapes and the know-how to make wine, the shakol, the blessing we say over God for my favorite ice cream, also vegetarian tacos. You name it, we've got a bracha for all kinds of things. We have a bracha if during a lightning storm we see lightning or hear thunder. We bless God for lightning and thunder. We have a bracha, bless you God, for bringing about a miracle to me or to us in this place. And about 10, 11 years ago, I recited that blessing because our son Aaron was in a car accident when he was in grade school. If you picture the on-ramp from airport towards I-65 going southbound, and he's on the on-ramp and he's heading south, and it was raining, cloud, ready to stop, but the on-ramp was slick. And as he was moving from the on-ramp onto airport, he hit a wet spot, and the car spun like this, and he spun across 3 lanes of traffic. I-65. Not a car was nearby, and the rear of his vehicle came and hit and crushed and stopped the concrete median. He was fine. We're happy. All fine. Had a small scratch. Still got a little scar. Imagine spinning a car across 3 lanes of interstate. Not a car was hit. So the next time I drove by, I said, bless you, God, for bringing about a miracle for us at this place. It's a one line. We've got lots of blessings. And the goal of these Baruch Atah, these one-liners, is to sensitize us to something exceptional or ordinary. Eating a sandwich is ordinary, but eating that bread is supposed to be exceptional. But when you happen to be in what could be a life or death situation, the sensitizing of Baruch Atah, 6 words, changes who you are and how you view the experience you just had, or somebody you love. There's another blessing that's fairly obscure. If you happen to be traveling and you come upon a synagogue that had been destroyed and then was rebuilt, you can say a Baruch Atah. Imagine seeing a synagogue and it's been destroyed and then it's been restored. And that's been my experience in Israel. And you can say the blessing. But it's an interesting blessing. It's a strange blessing. See a synagogue that was destroyed, it's been repaired or rebuilt, and the blessing goes, blessed are you, God, who restores the full property to a widow. Restores the full property to a widow. What does that mean? What does a widow have to do with a broken synagogue that's been rebuilt and restored? I don't know. But I'm taking a guess that the metaphor is that we might consider that a widow is somebody who embodies a sense of loss, great loss, for obvious reasons. And so this blessing comes along and in 5 or 6 words tries to say somebody who has experienced great loss has now been restored to beauty and to grandeur. And even though she's still a widow, she's stronger and she's more violent. She's not alone. So when you see a broken down synagogue that's been restored to beauty, you can say, "Blessed are you, God, who restores the fullness of property to a widow." And this is on my mind because of a few phrases in this week's story. Moses is talking to the people of Israel, and he says, "You're going to come into Israel when you cross out of Jordan, and you're going to have choices to make. You can make positive choices or negative choices. And if you make the right choice, you'll be blessed." And there's a whole listing of, you'll be blessed, Baruch, 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 you'll be blessed. But if you make the wrong choice, you'll be cursed. Arur means curse. You'll be curse, 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 curse. And there are 15 curses that are listed here. And what would qualify that somebody would be cursed? Well, if he sneaks up on somebody and he commits murder, sneak attack, yes, a warrior should be cursed. Or if a man comes along and rapes and attacks a woman, yes, cursed. Or if you are involved in a judicial court proceeding and you violate some kind of a rule and you put the innocent person into a situation of guilt, yes, you should be cursed. Or if you take a bribe in a judicial proceeding, you should be cursed. There's all these curses. But I look at the first three. The top three curses. Number one, if you build an idol, you're going to be cursed. That's the number one. Number two, if a person insults his parents, he's cursed. He or she is cursed. Insulting a parent is higher on the list than committing a sneak attack murder or violating a courtroom situation such that an innocent person goes to jail. Insulting a parent is number two on the list. And you know what the number three is on top of the list? Cheating somebody with his field marker, moving a fence post. So if you and I live side by side, we don't really have a full fence, we just have like a little marker. Maybe it's a stone, maybe it's a little wooden stick, and that separates your yard from my yard. And I get up at 2 in the morning, and you're asleep. And I get up and I go outside, and I pick up that boundary marker and I move it 6 inches and go back into sleep. I stole it from you. And maybe I do it the next night or the next week. And maybe if I do it repeatedly after a few weeks or a few months, guess what? I've stolen a significant amount of land from you. So it's theft, but it's taking advantage of you because you don't know what's happening. Because most of us are asleep late at night. That's called moving the boundary marker. And moving the boundary marker is higher on the list deserving of being cursed than committing murder or rape or taking a bribe as an officer of the court. Because you're taking advantage of somebody who should be left intact. So we have these two little elements. One, stealing land from somebody who doesn't know by moving the boundary marker, which in terms of its vocabulary is very similar to the opposite of when you see a synagogue that has been knocked down and then restored, you say, "Blessed are you, God, who restores the fullness of the property of the widow." We have two choices. How are we going to live in our daily lives? Are we going to take advantage of somebody, in this case, politically, a widow, because she's all alone, she's vulnerable, she has very little recourse? You can move that boundary marker? Or are you and I going to apply every bit of energy we can to restore and safeguard somebody who is vulnerable, alone, maybe scared? The choice is us. Do we want to be a baruch, a blessed, or do we want to be a word curse? Every single day we chose to we would make the right choice. The Elena, we rise, page number 56. The Elena, page 56. And on this Shabbat, we remember members of our shul and their families, and their names are Gertrude Ribs, Charles Weber, Mordechai Zarimba. That was Mr. Zarimba's son. Mr. Zarimba was married initially to a woman whose name I don't know, and they had 3 children. And the Nazis destroyed those 3 children and his wife. And then later, in the DP camp, he met Kayla. And Kayla's original first husband had also been murdered and destroyed by the Nazis. And she met Mr. Zarimba in a DP camp, and they married in the DP camp, and she became Kayla Zarimba. Mordechai Zarimba is his son from his first marriage. Peter Strinsky, Rosalie Rosenthal, Samuel Sass, Belle Goutel, Harry Schreidman, Jacob H. Zuckerman, Abraham Stein, Aaron S. Jaffa, Helen Miller, Sanford Polanski, Selma Buckstein. Are there any other names to mention tonight? Perhaps those that don't have the name to share. We remember all of our people whose lives were stolen from us in Israel by the terror attacks of Hamas. Kashrus on page 58. Yitkadal v'yitkadal shemei Rabba, amen. Ve'ollah v'yivra v'yiratei v'yamliv malchutei v'chayei chon v'yomei chon v'chayei v'chol v'yisrael v'agalah v'bizman karib v'yiru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabba v'yivarach la'olam v'olmei v'olmaya Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitahar, v'yitramah, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitlahal, shmei, v'yudushar, v'rechu, le'elah, v'yimkom, v'yirchata, v'shirata, v'yushdachata, v'nechamata, da'aviram v'allah, v'yiru, amen. Yehei shama, rabba, mid shemaya, v'chaim aleinu, ya'alkol Yisrael, v'yiru, amen. Oseh shalom mi'ramah, u'yaseh shalom aleinu, ya'alkol Yisrael, v'yiru, amen. May we have shalom, may we bring shalom and kindness into our world. We are seated. On page 59, this psalm was recited for a month leading up to Rosh Hashanah and then Yom Kippur and then on into Sukkot. And it's here on page 59. And about, well, if you look at the little red ink on the English side of the transliteration, 3 lines of English just above that red ink on the English side, and then the Hachal in the transliteration. One thing I ask of Adonai, this is what I seek, to dwell in the house of God all the days of my life, to behold God's peacefulness, and to pray in God's sanctuary.
All your
Shabbat Shalom. May you be blessed. Please know we love you. You're very important to us. Go with God and know that we are with you until we see each other. Shabbos.